Welcome once again to another exciting episode of Two Shot Tuesday. My name, as always, Jason Riley, and my co-pilot on this exciting journey, Barry T. Nixon. Two Shot Tuesday, the podcast you can and should listen to on your break. Barry, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Jay, and very well put. That's exactly what people should do. We're in and out in 17 to 19 minutes. It's kind of perfect.
It really is perfect.
Yeah.
And we have a format on the show. We have topics that we cover interspersed among two shots of our favorite liquid of the moment. And why don't we get into shot number one to kick off our format? What have you got?
I have some more Bearface Whisky, Canadian made from our new friends that we met at Whisky Global some time ago. Delicious, Jay. I love it. What have you got?
Fantastic. Barry, I'm joining you on this adventure because I picked up a bottle myself at my local.
Yeah.
Bearface. So we are cheersing it up. We both really enjoyed this. Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Ooh. All the notes. Is there some maple syrup in that? I get a maple syrup note.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like, yes, that you were up here for a second. You were right in my own brain, Jay. It's incredible. Yeah, a little bit of syrup. But now it's gone. But it was just a fleeting moment of syrup.
Like pancakes. I had some pancakes with some wonderful maple syrup, all in shot form. Barry, you did something really exciting this past weekend.
Yeah. You know, it's been a weekend of dates with my missus, and
nice.
It's been a lot of fun. She is a wonderful partner to go through time with. We always have a great adventure, no matter what it is we're doing. Today, we went out near Uxbridge, which is Craig Zavitt's country.
Yeah,
and
the NFL guy.
Yeah, we went to CSA Farm and Corn Maze. Now, you might say, okay, that's an interesting choice to go through a corn maze. You know, you're a grown-ass man. Yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
But I'm also open to things, as you know, Jay. I like to say yes to things. So my wife, she came up with the idea, and it was quite an adventure. Beginning with the drive, trying to get out of our fair city, as we know, can be a bit of a pain. But
let's take our listeners through and viewers through all of this, because I know that we're going to want to go through every minute with you. So it's Sunday when you do this, and you're getting out of the city. I want to hear about that. Was that a maze?
Felt like a maze, Jay. There were some road closures, as they often are in our fair town. So there was some diversions, some detours. But eventually we got to the 404 where things started to open up. And that's when I was able to let my car off the chain a little bit, as you know I do like to do. And next thing you know, we're in no man's land. Yeah. Like it was just farms and, you know, rows of corn for as far as the eye could see. It felt kind of otherworldly, if I may.
You could have walked through anywhere and it would have been a corn maze at that point. You didn't have to go to the official one. You could have just pulled over to the side of the road, picked some rows of corn, and stomped on through. But you didn't. You went to the official sanctioned corn maze.
I went to the ticketed event. Yes, Jay. Okay. Yeah, this was something that Linda and I had to, we bought tickets for in advance. And we actually had to pick a time slot as well, which is interesting. 12:30. It was only two options, 12:30 or 3 in the afternoon. 3 kind of blows your whole day, but 12:30 was where, you know, what we landed on, and it was perfect. And it was an absolutely gorgeous, crisp, sunny day, which was perfect for wandering around, you know, a cornfield.
Now, I would have thought it would have been like a golf tee time, like every maybe 10 minutes somebody new enters the maze. Yeah. But it's not. Is it groups of people at 12:30 and then another group at 1 and a group at 2? How did that work?
Well, this is what we learned. I feel like it's a bit of a sliding scale. There was no group. There was no discernible, you know, starting time. There was nobody like saying, wait until, you know, the clock actually rolls over to 12:30 before we turn you loose in the maze. It was a little more farm-like in that way. It was just a little more loose. Although I guess farms, if they're well run, you're up at 6, you're milking the cows. You know what I mean? You have a schedule. This was not that. This felt a lot more loose, and it was great. We just got there, and we did what you and I like to do, Jay, often is breeze into a place. Yeah. Well, we do like that, but just breezing in.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Frictionless setting is kind of what you want. That's your VIP experience. So you're saying everybody at the corn maze got the VIP experience. You
essentially
just breeze on through. So you wander into the maze. Was there other people going into the maze at the same time?
Yes, there were.
Okay.
And it was kind of like there were some families there, but there were also people like Linda and I, like, who were just there on a date, you know? So it was kind
Nice.
of cool. You didn't necessarily have to have a kid with you. Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
Great. How long does it take to get from beginning to the end of the maze?
Well, let's see. We made there were a few, a handful of wrong turns.
Really? Well, that's a maze.
It's a maze, right? But I kind of, I thought, I thought I knew where I was going. And
Of course.
eventually, and then when I gave the brain back to Linda, we found our way out of the maze in like not very long.
Nice.
After I had kind of backtracked this, there was a section where I was like, we've been down this corridor before. And it was
Interesting.
kind of like I had that feeling like you're kind of like literally just going in a circle. And so I was like, oh shit. And then Linda's like, okay, let's try this way. So we did. We got back on track, but it was fun the whole time. Like it truly is just a walk. You're not, there's no
Right.
race. There's no like time to complete, but you do get a reward upon completion, no matter how
Hmm.
long it takes. You get to select a pumpkin from the patch of your choice, which we
Okay.
didn't realize was built into the cost. Then as we were like checking in, the guy's like, well, if you want an extra pumpkin, it's only $1. I was like, wow. I mean, that's a deal. We didn't get
That
the
is a
extra
deal.
pumpkin, but we got like a small condo sized appropriate pumpkin
Nice.
that, had the proper bottom. Cause you need one that kind of sits straight.
Yeah, of course. That's key.
You have to,
Yeah.
right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
you got your pumpkin, you got through the maze in a
Yeah.
reasonable time,
Reasonable.
and you're dressed obviously for it. You wore this outfit to the pumpkin or to the corn maze, right?
I did, yeah, and I could have just blended right in with the
Yeah.
corn and just scared the shit out of people as they were coming around corners, but I
Yeah.
didn't, I'm maybe a touch old for that, but
Right.
yeah,
Terrifying man in the maze as you
yeah,
make the
exactly.
Uxbridge news.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, kidnapper, whatever, would be a label slapped on me. So
Yeah.
no, that didn't happen. But what did happen is we finished the maze. We went into the store. Of course, you got to. They had all kinds of stuff. You would have loved it. They had brownies. They had a variety of different jams and syrups and things
Did you
on
buy
offer.
anything?
I did not. I did not.
Nothing?
I had a coffee, and Linda had a hot apple
Okay.
cider.
Nice.
That was kind of like our sit down, 5-minute reward at the end of the completion of the maze. But they did have a bunch of meats and stuff, so I was kind of tempted by that. They had some steaks and stuff, and I was like, is today the day for that? And I was like, well,
To buy home,
maybe
to
not.
bring home and cook at
Yeah,
home.
exactly.
Okay.
But
Got
then I
it.
remembered I have a Factor delivery waiting for me at home. So I was like, well, the cooking
I got
is...
mine
You did? You're back?
today. I'm back. I took like 3 or 4 weeks off, and I was like, I would love a Factor delivery for this week. So I got mine today as well.
Beautiful. And why don't you share with our viewers some of the highlights of your package?
Yeah. 3 white meats, 3 red meats. So I got the always popular mozzarella burger, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I got 2 of the chicken honey mustard chicken, one of my
Yeah.
favorites as well.
Those are great.
I'm trying another chicken. I forget what it is. It might be an apricot type chicken.
Yep. That's
with some kind of sauce. Yeah, I'm trying that. There's a steak where the steak is cut up into bits. So it's a steak something that I'm trying.
Steak bite.
Steak bites, yeah. And something else that's also in the red meat family. It's like a steak something. So I'm looking forward to my Factor meals. So interesting. You've got yours coming today too, or has already arrived maybe.
Has already arrived. Just needs to be picked up. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So this is exciting. The maze, how would you rate the maze? Let's do it on a star rating like we do with movies.
In terms of just difficulty to complete or just fun in just being in there? Enjoyment,
Yeah.
I would say it's like that was a 5 out of 5. I enjoyed everything about it.
Nice.
The path wasn't, muddy. Thankfully, we've, had some dryness in the air. So there was no sliding around or making a mess of yourself. That's key.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you never know with these farms, you turn up and God knows what condition they're in. You know what I mean?
Well said.
No one's checking.
No.
Anyway,
It's true.
This one was well manicured and looked after. And there was some like kind of eerily, I guess they did this purposefully, but they left some corn unharvested and it was starting to rot. And so that kind of added to the sort of the eerie, 10-acre corn maze adventure.
Yeah. That's what it was, 10 acres?
It spread over 10 acres, but it was split up into a couple of different, like a more difficult version and then like a smaller version.
What did you do?
Well, I don't know. I think we kind of did all of it. Like we didn't come out the same way we went in. So presumably we crossed over into the more difficult maze without even knowing it. That's the thing. Like there was no signage. When I said it was loose, that's what I mean. It was,
got it.
there was not, yeah, it was, they did have some hints, but the hints were indecipherable.
Nudges.
So Linda and I were just like, we can kind of see where we need to be. Because it's not like the stalks were 15 feet high, right? So there were parts of the maze that were kind of elevated a little bit because it's farmland.
Yeah.
It's not like perfectly flattened and, doesn't feel like an NFL, AstroTurf or whatever. It was some lumps and whatever. So you can kind of see where you're going as you get up into the higher parts of the maze.
Did they give you sometimes in mazes, they give you those little sticks you can show if you're lost?
They didn't do anything like that.
No. So there might be people wandering that maze for months. You don't know.
I mean,
you didn't run into any people that would look like they were living in it.
All like emaciated and hadn't eaten in a long time and just like
corn,
really pissed off.
Corn.
Yeah.
I guess not. If there was corn rotting, they obviously, because they would have eaten it if they were maze dwellers.
Yeah, totally. And if you're that desperate, yeah. No, we didn't come across anything like that, thankfully, nor did we see, any demonic children within the corn. It was perfectly good.
I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that now that you've gotten through the maze adventure. This is going to lend itself to what I'd like to touch on, maze related, maze adjacent.
Do you want to get our second shot in before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There's a format. So
there is,
I will bring as our second shot more of the Bearface goodness.
We're on the same page once again, Jay. Bearface. Yeah.
Yeah. Maple syrup. That's what I'm getting. Even if it's not there, I feel it.
I do too. Now, I don't know whether that is you hypnotizing me or whether it is actually true.
I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at it and we'll see what we got. Okay. Maze themed. When you told me you were going to the maze, which was just the day before, I immediately said, is this going to be like The Shining? Is this going to be like Children of the Corn? So I do want to touch on some maze themed movies, TV shows, events, anything we talk about. I think The Shining is a good one to touch on because it's a classic. And I believe you've added that to your 4K collection. Is that true or untrue?
I have. Yes. Recently, I got the Warner Vault collection.
Yep. How would you describe that? Have you watched it yet?
I have. It looks incredible. It is slightly zoomed in.
What?
Yeah.
Why'd they do that?
I don't know. But apparently that was, according to some things I've read online, that was what Stanley Kubrick approved. However, he's long since been deceased. So I don't know who's approving it, maybe in his name. Because as you may remember, like it was always known for really wide shots. Like almost everything, even close-ups were wide. You could see, but now it's and now I don't want to give you the impression that it's zoomed in the way you and I are zoomed in. It's not that.
No, it's not like giant heads. Okay.
No, it's not that. It's ever so slightly zoomed in, but it is enough that you notice it.
Are they trying to take away the letterbox? Is that what they were trying to do? Is go from a 16:9 to a 4:3 or something?
Well, 4:3 would be the square, like what you and I are looking at.
What's the little bit zoomed in where it's like TV size, but not 16:9?
168 or something like that.
Yeah, there you go.
4:8, I believe.
Something.
I don't know. Letterbox.
Anyway,
16:9. I think that sounds right. Anyway, it's just ever so slightly zoomed in. This is not a criticism. I didn't find it distracting at all. I thought it was actually better. You get to see, like when Jack is having his interview at the Overlook Hotel, you can kind of see more of what's on the desk of the guy who's doing the interview.
Zoomed right in on the desk. That's what I'm imagining.
Right in.
On his hand, writing in
just his nameplate. It's like front and center. Anyway, I thought it was great. It looked great. Now, of course, while I was in the maze, I couldn't help but do the Jack Nicholson limp as I was going through the maze. I couldn't help it. And just saying, Danny, you can't get away. I'm right behind you. I couldn't resist. Linda thought that was funny once.
Of course.
But after 4 times, it's not one of those jokes you want to keep going back to. So
no.
Yeah.
But I will say this, as a reader of the book and as a watcher as well of the, I think it was the 90s miniseries on ABC.
Right. With the guy from Wings. As Jack Torrance. Yeah.
Yeah. In the original novel, there was no maze. Did you know that?
Yeah. They were like animals.
Hedge animals.
Hedge
animals. Yeah. So they went back to that so the maze was brought in by Stanley Kubrick. And I got to say, I mean, as I'm a purist of reading Stephen King novels, but that maze works in the context of the movie that they made.
I think totally. And Stephen King apparently hated the movie that was made.
Yeah.
So
let's also jump to, while we're talking about Stephen King and mazes and corn, we got to go to Children of the Corn, another Stephen King book.
Yep.
Was it Stephen King? Yeah, another Stephen King book made into a movie. You didn't see Isaac in the maze, Malachi.
Didn't see any of those guys. Didn't see Linda Hamilton, unfortunately. She was in that movie.
Yeah, she was in it. I forgot.
She's the star of the film. And then this other guy who's like, I think he's popped up in a few other 80s things, but I can't think of his name, unfortunately.
I used to watch that movie so many times. I had that recorded off of HBO as a child.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was it that you liked so much about it?
I just think I liked the movie. It was just sort of creepy, and it was kids, and I was a kid, and it was kind of like, kids kind of taking over this town. I don't even remember all of it.
Well, they murdered all the adults. So
yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, so they did that. And then the corn, and it was just like, as a kid being creepy. I don't think I'd be creeped out by it now so much.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen it recently? Because I watched it maybe inside of 10 years ago, and it's okay. I have it on Blu-ray, but it's not one that I've thought yet to upgrade to 4K. But there is a 4K version out there if you were so inclined. Yeah.
No, I haven't watched it. It also spawned all of these sequels that I know nothing about. Like, have you watched any of them?
No, I have not.
Straight to video sequels, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the first one kind of hit all the notes. I'm not sure how much more you need,
I think, was Isaac in all of the sequels?
I think so.
I
think so. Yeah, I think him and, although did Malachi get killed? He was the redhead in the first
I feel like
movie.
he did. I'm not sure if he did, but I feel like he might have.
No, well, you can circle back on that.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Children of the Corn, but I really was impressed. That movie really sucked me in. I've never read the Stephen King story about it.
That's unusual because you are definitely the reader of this show.
Yeah, I'll get right on it. Let me get my reading glasses out and start checking it out. So those are two maze-related things that I wanted to talk about. Anything relate to mazes or spectacles in any fashion on your side?
Well, I don't know. There was a movie called The Maze Runner, which I never saw. It was kind of geared for younger people, but I don't think it really caught on. The maze craze didn't catch on. I think, the most iconic would be the maze from The Shining. I think that's the one that most people know.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I'd be, Labyrinth, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, yes, that's a maze.
I added that in 4K.
You did, and?
Yeah, great. It looks amazing. Jennifer Connelly's in it.
Yep. David Bowie.
David Bowie, fantastic in the movie. The Jim Henson Muppets. Well, not Muppets, but Jim Henson, other types of puppets, not the Muppets, are in this movie.
Just puppets.
And it's just a lot of fun. It
is
geared toward younger audiences. Tough to get through in one sitting. As you know, I'm challenged to get through anything in one sitting.
That's true.
And so
even
for
meals. I've seen that too.
Yeah. Especially the factor meals because they're quite large.
Yeah, totally.
But I did enjoy. Of course, Labyrinth was fabulous. Really loved that movie.
So good.
Worth the 4K upgrade for me.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, that's our maze-themed show, isn't it, Barry?
I think so. I think we've hit all the notes, and I would recommend CSA Farms if anyone does want to drive out to the Uxbridge area and check it out. It's kind of fun. It's a fun little date idea, and obviously kids, if you have kids, they probably enjoy it as well.
Also good, too.
Yeah. I think we've given our viewers as many pro tips as we can today, Jay.
Yes.
And it is time for us to say goodbye until next week.
I'm glad you got to experience the maze and the maze craze. I think if anybody's going to bring the maze back, it's you, Barry T. Nixon.
I'm going to try to do that.
And I will see you next week and all of our viewers and listeners next week, however you choose to consume Two Shot Tuesday. We love having you with us. Please join us next week when we'll be back with another exciting episode. Have a great week.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to Two Shot Tuesday. The show is produced by Barry and I and edited by me. If you have yet to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, please take a second to do so now. It helps us grow, and it helps new audiences to find the show. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Two Shot Tuesday, and on Twitter at Two Shot Tuesday Podcast. Stop by, give us a follow, leave us a comment, and share your favorite episodes. If you have a question you'd like featured on the show, you can send us a text at 647-486-4848. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.